Good evening, Congressman.
Hey, guys.
As you are aware, the Muslim community has faced Islamophobia in various forms over the years. A recent new source of Islamophobia in the United States is a hateful ideology called Hindutva, whose proponents call for the genocide of Muslims in India. What's truly shocking, though, is that there are many people in our local neighborhoods and yours who subscribe to this hateful ideology. So my question is, one, what specific steps are being taken by the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security to identify and eliminate this threat to Illinois Muslims? And two, what is your office doing to help our community feel safe, knowing that this threat is in Naperville and the surrounding suburbs?
So, let us know anything we can do. Sometimes I think that, the most powerful thing our office can do is be present. And I don't say that to be dismissive, like showing up and sending a signal that this is sort of the behaviors. Let us know how we can help to do that. Have certainly found it useful in a number of other circumstances. I would be overstepping my grounds to say that I'm privy to everything that the FBI is doing. What I will say, an area that we have been very focused on in our office, which is tricky, but it's a conversation that we need to have, is that the by far and away, if you define an act of terrorism as an act of violence perpetuated by a non-state actor in order to achieve a political end, then by far and away the biggest terrorist who have ever worked on American soil is the Ku Klux Klan. And then you go through a whole bunch of other domestic terrorist groups before you ever get to anybody who's foreign. And the tools that we have to prosecute terrorism, as I've just defined it, tend to be foreign policy tools and not domestic policy tools. And it's a tricky issue within the civil liberties community, because if you go and you say, look, whatever you think about, FISA wiretaps and other sort of prosecutorial tools, when we have those tools to go after people who are committing hate crimes and they are not from here, they are very different from the tools we have to prosecute it when they're Americans, whatever the shade of their skin is of the attacker and the and the defender. And so, how do we? We've had a lot of things and letters we've gone and bills we've been supporting of trying to make sure that we prosecute domestic hate crimes in the same way we prosecute crimes by foreigners, and still be respectful of civil liberties. And it's tricky, but we're working through that. The second piece, which I think is too often overlooked, is the role of social media. Because a lot of what we're seeing in this rise of hate crimes in the U.S. has been driven by Facebook type algorithms that are designed to drive engagement and therefore drive people to like-minded people. The analogy that I have found most resonant is that we can't confuse freedom of speech with freedom of reach. Because if I put an ad in my newspaper and I said, I would like to engage in some sort of Islamophobic activity, the newspaper could publish that and say that's covered by freedom of speech, and that would be under our civil liberties. Okay. If the newspaper then changed the headline in the paper delivered to my doorstep the next day to put something Islamophobic in the headline because they knew based on the ad I posted that I was receptive to that, and then suggested that I go meet up with someone in real life who posted something similar in their classified section a year ago, we would say that's horrible, right? And yet that's exactly what these social media algorithms do. And so it's one thing to have individuals in our society who are espousing these ideas. It's something else to have businesses that are making money by connecting those people and inciting them to go to darker and darker and more hateful places. And we've been doing a lot of things in the social media regulatory range to try to address that. Again, it's tricky because of civil liberties issues, but I think we have to sail into those hard issues and cut that off.